that, never gotta sweet that. You can bet that, never gotta sweet that.
I'll be the rubber, you'll be the match. I won't be a few. Boom, painter, baby, you can be the mute. I'm the reporter, baby, you can be the news. Is you a cigarette? And I'm the smoker. We raise a bet. Is you the joker?
Chit chat with cutie. That's what they said. Yep.
Chit chat with QT was killing.
Chit chat with QT for all of this tea.
Hey cuties, thank you guys so much for joining me for another video. If you have not subscribed, please make sure to hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell and like and share the video. So let's get into this Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 6, Episode 2 recap. The episode was titled, You've Scots to Chill. And I'm not sure why this episode was named that, because this was the Mel and Martel show once again. But let's get into it. The episode starts with Stormi and Mel continuing their conversation from last week's episode about why Mel did not call Stormi. I'm so over it. But Mel goes into saying to Stormi that Stormi knows that she can DM her. Now here's my thing. Stormi said out of her own mouth, I know how you are and I know you disconnect. And if you know that, Stormi, why are we here? Why are we having this conversation? If you know that Mel has said this year after year after year, that she disconnects from everyone, sometimes even including family. What? You're special? I'm sorry, but it is giving clingy and needy, if you ask me. And then she had the nerve to ask Mel, well, let my friend know. Now call me crazy, but did we not see Stormi sit on the reunion stage last season and say that her and Mel were associates? Am I crazy? So if you are an associate, why are you expecting her to do things as a friend? I'm confused. But anyway, she said, I just didn't know you would do that to me. Again, you're not special. Here we go, Destiny Jr. talking about this friendship with Mel, and Mel didn't call me, and I didn't hear from her for months. And then she also did something that was mentioned before as well. Stormi goes into telling Mel that their rooms were right next to each other when they filmed the reunion, and they didn't talk to each other. And my thing, Stormi, is why didn't you walk your arse right on over to her room? Why does she have to come to yours? If you notice she was next door, go say hi. And Mel let her know she didn't even know that she was in the room next to her. Now, we know that at the reunions, they have their glam squad and everything else going on in those hotel rooms. Between scenes and breaks and all of that, they are refreshing and preparing themselves to go back on that stage. So what, we gonna lollygag now while I'm trying to get ready for this next scene? It's like, girl, gone. But anyway, they then get into why didn't you call? Why didn't you DM me thing again? And look, Mel, I'm just gonna need you to go ahead and say it. Say, girl, I decided to not rock with you after all of your BS. You just said we were not friends. So what's up with all of these expectations? Just shut it on down so this girl can go ahead and move on. But Mel let Stormi know that you DM me all the time. So if you felt this way, Stormi, DM her. That's it, that's all. We don't need this as a storyline because that's all it is. But let me go ahead and continue. Then in Mel's confessional, she spoke on how her real friends respect her boundaries because they know she takes time for herself after filming. And guess what, Mel? Stormi knows it too. Stormi then asks Mel, well, is it because of trust? Is it because you don't trust people? And that's why you don't give them your new number? And at this point, I just had to roll my eyes because you're talking about the reunion and Stormi was there. We watched. Did you not hear this girl say on that stage that her phone had been compromised? So yeah, I'm not trusting everybody that had my previous number. Let me sort this out. Let me take some time and regroup, and then we will talk. And it does not take a rocket scientist to figure this out. Look, we are business associates on a show. We not kicking it when the show not filming. As a matter of fact, you were kicking it with my ex-husband's new girlfriend on New Year's, okay? But Stormi then gets into talking about how Mel was live tweeting saying someone had recorded her. They show a flashback of Destiny holding the phone up so Martell and Chris Fletcher can hear Mel talking about she can care less if Martell is in a new relationship. She can care less about the pictures that were released with Martell and Sheree because she saw pictures when she was married to him with another woman. But in Stormi's confessional, she took that time to shade Mel. She said she just does not see how Mel could think that because she has regurgitated this countless times when she's doing YouTube videos and interviews when she went on a YouTube press tour. Straight shade. But get this, Stormi, you are on a reality show. And if you're not putting yourself out there for the people off of the show, you're going to end up just like Destiny. There is nothing wrong with people seizing the moment and opportunity to get out there and promote what? Themselves on a reality show. So yeah, it was just the same thing. Stormi went on to say that she didn't record it. She don't rock like that. And she don't get how Mel could say that. Mel didn't say it. People on Twitter did. And I'm just over it. Like I said, this is Destiny 2.0. This is another storyline that someone has about Mel. Next scene, I'm over it. And then we are introduced basically to another member of Letitia's family. So they go back and cut to a scene of Letitia, Kimmy, and Courtney. Courtney is Tisha's cousin, and they are talking about if they take time to themselves. I guess playing on the conversation between Mel and Stormi. Kimmy says she loves her alone time, and then Kiki walks in. Kiki walks up to the table and greets the lady. Letitia rolls her eyes, and then they cut to the reunion when Letitia and Kiki were talking about her at that pajama party. And I'm just gonna need for the producers to regroup. It's like this storyline with Letitia and Kiki has been drug out long enough, if you ask me, just as long as everybody talking about Letitia's marriage, which we will get into that conversation later on in this recap. We're on season 6. Tisha has been complaining about people trying to break up her marriage since season 1. Carlos King, the people are over it, okay? So next we get to Kimmy and Martell. Martell asks Kimmy how she's been. Kimmy said good. Martell then says that he bet Maurice is worse than Kimmy. Kimmy tells Martell no shade, but she's grateful to have Maurice on this journey with her. Kimmy then asks Martell if he misses having Mel or a person to share these type of moments with. Martell says, girl, yes. He said he doesn't even like to go out of town anymore because it's not meaningful. Kimmy then tells Martell that he and Mel were a force to be reckoned with, and he sighs, a real big sigh, and said, yeah. Kimmy then tells Martell that There will always be a piece of them that will always see Martell and Mel together. And how when they met them, they were together and it was good and fun and they were making moves in the community and all of that. Kimmy then goes on to say, and we know y'all keep saying to leave that alone and we know what's best for us. And then Martell says, I'm not going to say that no more. And I know what's best too. So I'm going to stop saying that. Kimmy gets overjoyed and says she's happy to hear him say that. He said, I said nothing though. And she said, but you did. What do you mean? And he said, I said something without saying something. And then Martell gets serious and says he meant every bit of it though to be real. Then they cut to Kimmy in her confessional and she says it seems like Martell is putting his considerable ego aside and admitting he's made some mistakes. My thing about this scene is it gives a person false hope. And I get it. I'm sure there are many of us that have been going through things in our relationships and we call and voice that to family or friends, and after getting off the phone with them telling us how good of a couple we made, oh, give it another shot, try to work it out, try to communicate. A lot of us have been there and we may attempt to give it another shot. But the thing with Martell and Mel is it's over. The damage is already done. They are divorced. And I think that they need to let them be. And this is my thing. Had Mel not went through all the shit that she went through with Martell and AC, had there not been this outside child, and had this Negro not tried to take her kids away from her, and he knew this while filming this scene, and is still going on today, then maybe there would be hope. But with all of that, let sleeping dogs lie. And I just think it's time for the producers of this show and the cast to move on, because this is ripping a band-aid off of a not fully healed wound. And Mel and Martell will never be able to move past this if every season and every other scene is about them. Enough should be enough. But the scene ends with Kimmy saying that Martell is having buyer's remorse and he wants his old life and wife back. And Martell's ass should have thought about that while he had his wife. And after Martell's conversation with Kimmy, he goes over to Mel. She's getting ready to leave. Martell says he's going to walk Mel out to her car. Mel said, I'm good. My car is right out front. Martell said, no, I'm going to walk you to your car. Anyway, he finally says, I will walk you to the door. Mel rolls her eyes, and I don't blame her, because don't try to act like you want to protect me now after all the shit that you've did. But I digress. Mel walks over to Tiffany and Big Lou to say goodbye. She's about to go. Martell follows her and jokes that they are about to leave, insinuating that he and Mel are leaving together. And Mel really wasn't feeling Martell joking around with Tiffany and Lou. Louis says he just wants to make sure that you're safe. Tiffany goes into this whole thing of how her business partner would have a fit if she didn't allow him to walk her to her car. And we all know that Mel is just completely over it. Look, it would not be a big thing for your ex-husband to walk you to your car. But again, we know what this girl is dealing with when it comes to Martell off camera. So Martell putting on this act that he's just trying to be a gentleman and all of that is pure D BS. But they show him walking her to the door. They show Mel getting in her car. And I guess old Martell's heart can now rest because she's safe. Again, straight BS. And then the scene ends with Martell in his confessional. He's saying that Mel knows he's a gentleman and how he just wanted to make sure the mother of his 4 kids was safe. Boy, if you don't take your ass on somewhere with that. I think that Mel has come to the conclusion, especially since she had to divorce you, that she knows gentleman is the last thing that you really are. Next scene was at Kimmy and Maurice's house. They are sitting down talking. Kimmy had just finished her radiation, stated that the radiation had shrunk the tumors down to basically non-existent, and now it is time for her to have her surgery to remove the scars, I'm assuming, or the tumors itself. So Kimmy is still in wife mode. She's talking about cooking and having things ready for them once they get home from her having surgery. She said that way they can just chill. Maurice told her, why don't she just chill now? And I agree with Maurice. Kimmy, let that man do what he needs to do. You ain't got to worry about cooking and cleaning and none of that while you're going through what you're going through. And they then talked about how the celebration went. Kimmy said with Maurice being against it, it seemed like he had a good time. He said he really wasn't against that. He was against a party. But they spoke about how it felt good for Kimmy to be able to share the news with the rest of their friends / cast about the progress so far in her journey. And child, I guess the producers are feeding everyone this storyline of Mel needing to regroup. So Maurice started off by saying that he didn't see Mel around too many people at the outing. Kimmy said that basically her people were there. And then Maurice says, well, yeah, Mel does do a lot of things by herself. Mel does need to recharge. So once again, in a part of their story, they are talking about Mel. And next up, they're going to talk about Mel and Martel. So Kimmy then starts to tell Maurice about the conversation that she had with Martel. And she stated that she told Martel how grateful she is to have Maurice with her going through this journey. And she said that she asked Martel, is that something that he misses? And Kimmy told Maurice that Martel said, hell yeah, he misses it. He misses his ride or die, which was Mel. Maurice tells Kimmy that Martel needs to make up his mind and how a double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. And that's something that Maurice is not lying about, because we can see how unstable Mr. Martel is. Kimmy tells Maurice that even if Martel moves on, a part of him will always miss Mel. And I agree. And Maurice said, yeah, when you are the person that caused all of these mistakes, then you're going to have regrets. And then Maurice basically called Mel the scorned woman. He said that all of the interactions that he's seen, it's basically cold. And it's going to forever be cold. And then in their confessional, Maurice said that Martel needs to sort out his feelings for Mel. He said, you can see that one day Martel loves Mel and the next day he hates her. And he said Martel needs to get that figured out. And Kimmy said that is easier said than done. And again, it's done. So yeah, Martel needs to go and sit down with somebody. It's time for him to accept the fact that he screwed up everything and gone on with his life. He couldn't stay away from the side chick for 7+ years at the time. So yeah, go do that and let Mel go on about her business. Then Maurice tell Kimmy that he saw Martel basically chasing Mel out the door. He said that Martel came back in with a sad face. He said Martel's head was down and he was doing a little moping. Kimmy asked him, well, did you talk to him? And Maurice said, yeah, I joked on him and said he told Martel, it's cold out there, isn't it? And he said he told Martel that 2 times. And Kimmy said, well, that's not funny. And yeah, that was the end of that scene, which again, mainly focused on Mel and Martel. They need to go ahead and rename this show Love and ex-marriage of Mel and Martel Holt. And then the next scene is Chris Fletcher and his wife, Nell. They are out having date night, and they have a surprise guest that Chris didn't let his wife know about, Mr. Martel. Who else? But we know that Mel and Martel did have a friendship with the Fletchers, and Martel comes in and joins them for their date night, and they start asking Martel about his dating life. So Nell asks him, is he still dating? Is he exclusive with anyone? And Martel said no. Nell asked him, how is the single life? And Martel said that he does not like it. But Martel let it be known that he is single. He's really not tied down to anyone. He's basically just enjoying, I guess, the women that he's with. He did say, ultimately, he does want to get remarried. And then they show Martel in his confessional. He's talking about how he definitely wants to get married again. He said it's tough and it is a challenge being single, and how it's good to have a significant other building together. And fool, you had that. But he ends his confessional off by saying that he plans on proposing this year. How, Sway? You're not serious with anyone. You're not tied down. So you just gonna take all your baggage to the next woman? You done told 3 different couples in this episode alone that you miss your wife, your ex-wife, and now you just gonna propose to someone by the end of this year. A whole hot mess. And then they cut back to Nell. So she's telling Martel, okay, you're not exclusive, but are you exclusive with Sheree? Because we met her. Martel said that Sheree is a beautiful woman and that they get along well and enjoy each other's company. Chris Fletcher then asks Martel, so is this the one? And Martel looks at him and laughs. Sheree, you a goddamn fool, girl, if you don't go on about your business. And after the laughing, Martel said, we will see as time progresses. And then Nell asks Martel, well, how long do you plan on dating Sheree? And Martel, still with Mel on his mind, had the nerve to say, when God say go, God say go. Clowning the hell out of whatever it is he has with Sheree. They all crack up laughing. Nell said, wait a minute now, that's Mel's thing. God said go is Mel's thing. And they show Martel's ass in his confessional saying, well, if God could tell Mel when to go, he can definitely tell me when I should get married again. But Chris Fletcher then asks Martel, how are things going with you and Mel? Martel goes into how things are not well, how they don't talk at all. He said he has the kids for 7 days and she doesn't call. Nell says that, well, you guys got 4 kids. You need to communicate. Once again, he's acting like this is Mel not caring about the kids while they're with him. And then he said going in and out of court, he does not like it. Houseway, it's because of you that you all are in court. Nell asked him, well, wait, why are you guys in court? And he said, ultimately, because she has 20 babysitters. There goes Martel with that 20 babysitters, 20 this, 20 that, his favorite number. But Nell said, you took her to court because she has too many babysitters. And Nell asked him, okay, you know this for sure. How many is too many babysitters? And Martel said, 20-something. Nell says, Martel, don't nobody have no 20-something babysitters. And this fool said, I'm asking you, what if it's true? Don't say what if it's true. If you took her to court, you should know that it's true. So basically, he's trying to get Nell to side with him. He's asking her, what if you and Chris got divorced and you got kids under 10 and it's 20-something people watching them? Nell said, well, I would want to know who those people are. And then Martel tells them how Mel's brother, Marcus, came into town to pick up the kids and had them for 2 days. And he's upset because he's right there in town. And guess what, Martel? If you had not destroyed your marriage, then the kids would have been with you while their mom had to work. That is their uncle. And there's nothing wrong with him assisting his sister, especially after you made her a single parent. And Martell goes into this spiel that they can hire two people to do things for the both of them. And you know what? If Martell was a reasonable individual that didn't keep up all of this other mess, that did not have this side chick that takes every opportunity to run to the internet about things that's going on between he and his ex-wife, that would not be an unreasonable demand. There's nothing wrong with them being able to co-parent together, come up with a plan to have certain people watching the kids while he has them or while she has them. But again, this is not because of Mel's doing. And Martell, if given the opportunity, would use that against her. So I've said it before and I'll say it again. This is all about him trying to control how she lives her life with her kids. And he had the nerve to say in his confessional that being divorced is hard enough as far as instability and all of that. And I'm just gonna stop. You created this. You are the reason why these kids are going through what they're going through. Enough with this, I want the best for my kids, because if you did, your ass wouldn't have done what you did. Period. And the scene ends with Mr. Martell saying that this is about the best interest of the kids. And I'm going to say again, he does not have the right to dictate what should and should not be done when those kids are with their mom. The majority of us see what she's doing when they are with him. She's working, and we don't see a damn thing that he's doing. So maybe if Mr. Martell was just as busy as Mel building a future for his kids, then he would understand how challenging that could be. But he's sitting at home wanting child support. That's it, that's all. Because I don't even know the inner details of their court case. But I can guarantee you this. If he wants full custody of those kids, he wants money to go along with it. Just a mess. But that was the end of that scene. Again, another scene about Mel and Martell. And child, the next scene is another member of Letitia's family, her cousin Courtney. They meet up at Black. Tisha is trying to convince her to join Scott Realty. Now that's what Tisha said. Scott Realty. Not Realty, Realty. But they sit down and talk. Courtney basically is trying to act like she's not down for it. They discuss the incident that has happened with Letitia and Kiki. And this is my thing about that. Like I said earlier, I'm over talking about Tisha and people trying to break up her marriage. We get it. We got it 3, 4, 5 years ago. However long it's been. But let's not act like Tisha and Marcel didn't do anything bogus with Kiki by talking about her addiction. So I'm sick of Tisha with this victim role. You've done and said some shit yourself, so let's get over it. But after they had their talk, Courtney reluctantly said that she will go ahead and join Scott Realty. And the next scene is Mel meeting up with Chris Fletcher's wife, Nell. They both talk business. Mel asks Nell, how is the child care business going? She said that after COVID is back up and running and things are going good. She congratulates Mel on her skincare line, told Mel that she's glowing and she needs her to hook her up. And then Nell asks Mel, how is the dating life going? Mel said that it's going pretty good and that it's not as bad as people make it out to be as far as getting back out there after marriage. Nell then says to Mel, well, you're not exclusive with anyone, right? You're just dating. And Mel said that is correct. And then they cut to Mel and her confessionals. And the producer said, there are rumors going around that you have found a man. And Mel says she don't know why people are worried about who she's dating, if she's exclusive or not. And sis, come on now. We all, everybody, I think, is going by what you said. You manifested that thing. So I do think that that's why people are really talking about who you are dating. But Mel says she's sure there is more going on in Huntsville than who she is dating. So let's talk about something else. And then Nell tells Mel that her and Chris had a date night that Mr. Martel Holt crashed. And Nell lets Mel know, we've been down this road before. You got your tranquility and happiness, and Martel is trying to find his. And right now, it's about the kids. And she told Mel that she needs the both of them to be in a good space because at the end of the day, they will be in each other's lives forever, which is true. And I guess that forever thing shook Mel because she said, what now? And Nell repeated, at the end of the day, you guys will be seeing each other forever. Mel said, no. And Nell said, oh, yes, you are. And Nell explained, look, they're young now, and even when they grow up, they're still going to be mom and dad. And yes, y'all going to be in each other's lives forever. And I know that Mel knows this, but the look on Sis' face was like, God damn, she right. I'm going to have to deal with this Negro forever. But Mel finally said, oh, okay. I thought you was just talking about the seeing each other. And then Nell tells Mel that she knows her. She's going to be straightforward. And she said that Martel is feeling some type of way about the babysitters. And they cut to Mel in her confessional, and she said that hearing that Martel is talking about the custody details to mutual friends is not surprising to her at all. And she said that when she chose to leave him, he ran around to anybody in the city that had ears to try to dog her out as a woman and mother. But then we go back to Mel telling Nell that the only people that has watched her children overnight are a handful of people, and it's been at her home. And she goes into detail of how when she left Martel that she recognized that he's trying to box her in. And when he's unsuccessful, he goes around on this smear campaign. And she said, the same people that you are talking about me to, how would they feel if they knew that you were still trying to get me back? And we know that's the truth. The man just sent her 10 dozen roses 2 weeks ago. And then they show flashbacks basically of Martel lying. They show when he and Mel were still together and how he asked her if she's going to take care of him. She asked him, are you going to take care of me? And if so, how are you going to do that? Martel said, I'm going to cut off communication with everyone. We know that he didn't. And here we are. And they cut to the confessional of Mel saying that she don't know why anyone would trust anything that Martel says, and that it should come as no surprise that Martel is lying about her. She said he's been lying about her and lying to her to get what he wants for years. But it goes back to Nell asking Mel if they can somehow come to a common ground and get maybe 3 babysitters that the both of them approve of together. Mel said that she's tried to do that and it did not work. She said people don't like to deal with Martel. And Nell asked, well, is he pushing them away? And Mel said yes. And Mel said that she feels like that Martel is operating from a very hurt place. And Mel said the result of Martel continuing to step out on his marriage and his wife leaving him doesn't grant him the authority to now control everything. And that's it. That's all. That's all that this is about. Martel know that when it comes to Mel, he can't touch her. But those kids, he can use those kids as his way of controlling her. And I must admit, I did get emotional when Mel said that she never thought that being someone that was married and had kids, that she would now not see her kids every day. That's heartbreaking. It really is, because she didn't ask for this. And for her to have to go through days where her babies are not in her presence is just heartbreaking. And Mel sort of broke down. She was trying to hold the tears back, but she said that, yeah, she's strong, but she never really thought that she would be there, not seeing her kids every day. And she said that basically Martell is not going to act like this is something that she wanted, but it's the reality now. And she said, you are not about to control me since I have kids with you, with your pulling up, following me ass. And we know he's doing it. Like I said, it's a lot that we don't know when these cameras are not rolling. And we can see what Mr. Martell is all about. And it's time for him to just go ahead and move on with his damn life. Let everybody get peace. Like she said in this scene, she just wants peace. But Nell did apologize to Mel. She was very comforting, and she said that part she did not know, but she understands. And the scene ends with Mel in her confessional, and she said that Martell has spun this so it can look like he cares more about the kids than she does. And she said it's gross, and I agree. She said it is controlling behavior masked by a good story, and she feels it's very sad that people are actually believing him. And she said that she was glad that Nell reached out to her, because who knows, Nell most likely could have been one of the people that believed Martell as well. And Mel let Nell know that there are certain measures that she has to do to protect herself and her privacy. And she let Nell know that she's changed her number 5 times since she left Martell. She said that she wished they can have that type of relationship where she can say, okay, you want to take the kids out to lunch? Let's go. And she said that they've actually done that. But that's a done deal now because there is no trust. And yeah, that was the end of that scene, and it was a great scene to me. I do love the friendship that Mel and Nell has, and I'm just happy to see someone that she can vent to on this show. And this last scene was Tisha and Kiki meeting up at a boxing class to, I guess, get out their frustrations with each other. And like I said earlier, I'm so over this storyline because it's been going on too long, in my opinion. I feel like Kiki was in her right to say whatever about Tisha because Tisha and Marceau said what they said about her and her addiction. So the sooner we can get to that when it comes to their role in this show, the better. Tisha is not a victim. Don't nobody care about her marriage. And if her and Marceau are still together despite what Kiki said, so be it. So I'm just hoping that this will not carry out this whole season, but I can already see where they're going. We will hear about this over and over again. We have had this discussion with them during the regular season. They also had a reunion, puppets and all, talking about this very issue and enough. So yeah, I'm not spending much time on that at all. We shall see how it goes. Overall, it was an okay episode, but like I said, the show should be named Love and Ex-Marriage of Mel and Martel Holt. So yeah, guys, that was my recap of Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 6, Episode 2. It was a doozy. I'm curious to see what the ratings will be. Like I mentioned earlier, it is time for the producers to regroup. Let's spend some money in the show, producers. Let's have the cast go on a trip, maybe outside of the country together, and relax. Let's move past Mel and Martell and all of their business. And let's get over Tisha's marriage. The people tagged. We tagged. No one cares, okay? But yeah, guys, I just got a little frustrated because, like I said, we've been talking about Letitia's marriage since season 1. What else do they have to offer? But you guys, drop down in the comments. Let me know if you watched the show. Let me know your thoughts. I do know that there are a lot of people that are boycotting the show completely. And if you are one of them, I hope this recap gives you a sense of what went on during this episode. I am a Love and Marriage Huntsville fan, so you guys know no matter how frustrated I get, I will be tuned in. But drop down, guys. Please make sure to like the video, hit that notification bell, and subscribe. Chat with you guys soon. Bye.